I want to add comedy to this.
Why didn't you tell me you were gonna do that?
So you just bought your first bearded dragon. You're probably wondering how are you gonna be able to take care of this animal? Well, in today's video, we're gonna be going over my favorite care guide tips. I'm Marshall, and this is Lady May, and thank you for watching the A1 Exotics YouTube channel. So you're probably wondering, what is a bearded dragon? Well, the bearded dragon is a part of a species of lizard called the agamid family, which means that their tails cannot fall off. Um, if you pull on a bearded dragon's tail, it won't feel good. You don't want to do that, but it won't fall off. Unlike a leopard gecko or iguana, or here in Florida, we have the little brown anoles running around. Their tails do fall off and they do regenerate. Bearded dragons come from, well, in this case, is Pagona viticeps. There are 6, I believe, bearded dragon species, and this is the central bearded dragon, which is the most common bearded dragon in the industry. But nonetheless, they come from, Nina, you okay? Sorry. They come from the middle of Australia, and they live in a semi-arid environment. Basically, what that means is that it's not like a desert in that it's very hot and very rough terrain where it's just sand and nothing like that. Semi-arid means that there is vegetation present. It does get hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not like what is promoted in pet stores. Well, they'll have like a bearded dragon and a little 20-gallon with just calci sand spread around in there. So today we're going to be discussing, the tips and tricks to get around that. I also forgot to mention that bearded dragons are solitary animals. If you buy a bearded dragon, they do not need a friend. Quite the opposite. If you put a male and a male together, they will kill each other. They don't like having friends. The only time that bearded dragons ever interact is for reproduction purposes. This is Lady May, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So Lady May, she is a healthy bearded dragon. She might be a little bit on the chunky side, so she's going on the diet. But bearded dragons' diets, they can be a little bit confusing if you don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, at pet stores, it's not very well known that bearded dragons are omnivores. Basically, an omnivore is a animal that eats both plants and meat. Well, in this case, insects. Bearded dragons, they love a variety of different insects that include superworms, mealworms, discoid roaches. Well, for you up north, it's dubia roaches because discoids are illegal down here. But they love all sorts of different types of bugs. Bearded dragons, they also eat a variety of different vegetables, which includes collard greens, mustard greens, dandelions, just anything that's very green-like. You don't want to feed them lettuce or any sort of lettuce for that matter, because lettuce it's like crunchy water. There's really no vitamins or nutrients found in those, so you want to avoid that, and it can cause impaction to beardies. So now you got your feeding situation settled out, or what you need to feed them. But now you need to figure out how often you need to feed these guys. Bearded dragons, they can go up to 6 to 7 months without eating a meal. Now you definitely don't want to do that, but it's just the way they're designed because, like I said, where they come from in Central Australia, they go through a lot. They go through a lot of changes in the environment where it gets very dry, the vegetation dies off, which in turn makes the insects go away. But for my bearded dragons, personally, my adults, I feed them a mixture of greens every single day, and then every other 2 days or so, I feed them their insects. So the older the animal gets, the more greens you want to offer them and less proteins. Now for babies, you kind of want to do the opposite. You definitely want to make sure they get their share of greens because most babies don't like their greens. Um, but you really want to make sure they get their proteins. They should be fed and offered bugs every day, twice a day, along with greens like that. A good tip I would say is offering in the morning and missing the greens because it kind of stimulates them wanting to eat it because they're just waking up and they're thirsty and they're wanting to get that water for the day. So as Lady May's crawling around on me up here, we'll talk about the lighting for bearded dragons. It's kind of a controversial topic in the reptile community, but it's definitely something that's very, very important for the beardie's health. They need two types of light. They need a UVB and a UVA. UVB is what the sun gives off. It's the radiation that the sun emits naturally. The UVA is the heat aspect of it. Now, both of them are extremely important. If you don't have either one or just one or the other, you can't cut corners with that. You have to have both. For the longest time, it was marketed that the cold UVBs would work. And personally, in my experience, I haven't had any problems with the coil UVBs. But after doing more research into it, I've switched all my enclosures to the T5 10.0 UVB bulbs. I'll insert some overlay footage while it's rolling. So yeah, that's what you definitely want to use for your beardie's habitat. Because, like I said, they need UVB. UVB it's very important because that's how they absorb vitamin D3 into their system, which in turn allows them to absorb calcium, which in turn prevents them from getting metabolic bone disease. And I'll insert a picture right here of what that can look like, and that's detrimental to your animal. And the bad thing about metabolic bone disease, or MBD, is that it's irreversible. There's no known cure for it, but if you happen to get a beardie with MBD, you can stop it, but it can't be reversed. So maybe more questions about that topic, I'll be happy to answer them for you. Just let me know down in the comments if any questions you have regarding lighting, because it can be a bit confusing. There's lots of different opinions on it, but we strive to give you the best information possible, so there's no debate on the beardie's longevity and overall happiness. So next on the list is, well now you have, let me think back here. Okay, so we cover what is a bearded dragon. Then we cover their diet and how often you should feed them, and then their lighting. So you have all that working together. And now it's, what are you going to put them in? Can you put them in a rack? Can you put them in a tub? Can you put them outside? We'll answer that right now. So when I first got my first bearded dragon, we bought him a 20-gallon long enclosure. And this when he was a wee little baby, and he grew up in that enclosure. And then from there, we transitioned into a 40-gallon breeder, and for a good part of his life, he grew up in that. Towards the end of his life, after doing some more research, we now build our own custom enclosures for our beardies. They're equivalent to about a 75-80-gallon tank, but in my experience, the beardies are much more happy because they're able to climb and explore and hide and everything like that. Now, for babies, you can get less of a size of an enclosure, but for me personally, it's better to get a bigger enclosure because they're just going to grow out of it, because beardies grow quick. From the moment they're hatched out all the way up to a year, they reach pretty much full grown. Beardies can grow 18 to 30 inches. This girl right here, she's probably about 24 inches, and she's probably about, 420 grams. So she's a thick girl. So it's always important to make sure that you're giving your animal the best possible replication of what their environment looks like. Now, regarding what kind of substrate you can put down, what?
I just got so party. I don't know why.
What? Now, regarding substrate, it's also a very controversial topic. Um, when I first got my first bearded dragon, I went to PetSmart, and I bought the kit that comes with it, and it comes with the coil UVB, the heat bulb, and the dome light. The whole shebang, and a little 20-gallon tank, and then like a little, I don't know, 5-pound bag of calci sand in there. Um, and back then, I was told that that was perfect for a bearded dragon because they need calcium, and they can lick the sand and ingest the calcium that way. So I didn't have any problems with it. But after doing some more research and me learning as I've grown up, that's not what you want to do. Any sand that like calci sand, I don't know if you've seen it, but like when you pour water in it, it tends to stick together, and that's kind of what can happen inside of a bearded dragon's GI tract. Bearded dragons, their intestinal tract is very, very short, which means that if something gets stuck in there, it's detrimental to their health. So you never want to use any sort of construction sand, like that play sand or that calcium sand, for that reason. You're more than welcome to do a bioactive setup. I would like to do that one day, where you have, the different layers, the isopods and things like that. That would work very well. Personally, on my tanks, I have just tile at the bottom, and it's very easy to clean. It looks great, and I never have to worry about my beardies ever getting impacted from, the bottom of the substrate. Now, babies, it's absolutely important that you never use any sort of loose substrate, because they don't understand that, some things aren't food. They're still kind of teething and everything, and they can ingest things they shouldn't. But as beardies mature, they learn that that's food and that's not food. And if it's going to get something in their mouth that it's not supposed to, they can just spit it out. So it's very important that, do your research. Don't just listen to this video, because even with my experience, I've had, animals for the past all my life, actually. I've never not had a reptile around me. But even with all my experience, I'm still learning every single day and growing to give my animals the best possible life they can have, because it's one thing for an animal to survive, but it's a whole other thing for them to thrive. That's what I always say. And I want my animals to live happily and healthy, because it's just so rewarding to see them crawling around and enjoying the experience they have. And I'll overlay some more footage, if I hadn't already done that, of my beardies and their enclosures. I had sticks and things like that, because whether I didn't know this, but bearded dragons, they're semi-arboreal. If you look at pictures of beardies from Australia, you'll find them just hanging out on fence posts and just meandering about up there in the trees. And they love staying up high, like Lady May. She's not down on the floor, she's on my shoulder, because she's checking everything out and just chilling. So you can always add whatever decor you may like, as long as, of course, it's sanitized and safe for the animal. Because enrichment's always a good thing. So after listening to this care guide, you're probably wondering, where can you get a bearded dragon? You can get them pretty much anywhere. They're one of the most popular pet lizards in the world. You can get them from the pet store or a reptile show, or from us. I personally recommend getting a bearded dragon from somebody that where the bearded dragon comes from. So, like, let's say in our case, we know everything about the potential baby you'll be buying. From the moment it was hatched to the day it was shipped out to you, we knew what it ate, its parents, its genetics, everything. And if you go to like a big box store, they get them from farms, and more often than not, they come in very poorly, and they don't have, they have lots of health problems. But before, you buy an animal, you never want to impulse buy it. You always want to look into the animal and what they require for them to be happy. So before you buy the animal, always make sure that you have everything prepared, the enclosure, the decor, the feeding, everything is all in line. That way you have everything ready. Say this again, you don't just want to, watch our care guide, because there may be some things that I missed. I can't fit everything into one video, so do some more research as well. And if I missed anything, definitely let me know down in the comments so other people can see that. Because, like I said, we want to replicate what a bearded dragon should be in. We want the animal to be as happy and healthy as possible. And that's what you also strive for too with your animals. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us today, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Let us know what other videos y'all would like to see. I definitely plan on doing some more care guides of other species of reptiles. So I hope you enjoyed the bearded dragon care guide. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.